Hi everyone, welcome back to my page. This is the final episode of the series on attachment style. I think we had a thorough look at different attachment theories and what are they like and really where we should be. But if you're one of the people who has avoidant attachment style or anxious attachment style, then this video is for you, because I'm looking at the dynamic of why these two attachment styles seem to not be able to let go of each other. They seem to just have this pull and amazing, fun, explosive relationship that's incredibly unfulfilling. So why does that happen, and why is it that we find it so hard to let go of each other and we keep getting pulled back? If you haven't been to my page, welcome. I'm Hamasa. I look at personal development as well as mental and emotional well-being and just day-to-day issues. Please do subscribe to my page so that you're up to date with all my content. I'm going to give a little background on the attachment theory, just because if you're watching this video on its own and haven't seen the other 2-3 that come with the series, then it makes sense to you. So attachment style is how we perceive love and how we give love, and generally how we see relationships. And this stems from our upbringing and childhood, and how our primary caregivers showed us and were there for us and showed us what love is. So if someone was feeling God given love, but it was given love inconsistently or on conditions, then most likely you probably grew up to be someone who's anxious attachment. And if you're someone who has been not just emotionally validated at all, or hasn't been given that sort of attention, protection, and love as a child, then they're probably avoidant attachment. I talk about these in more detail in my previous videos, which I will link for you guys, but just for the sake of setting the scene, this is what happens. So when you grow up as an adult, if you're an anxious lover, then you are constantly needing space, reassurance. Your main big fear is fear of abandonment, and you are clingy and you are there, you want to spend time, you want to give them all your affection, you're incredibly excited to be in your partner's presence, and you just they become your everything, and you are constantly running around them, faffing over them, because you've got anxious attachment. So you can't relax, you are on edge, you want their mood that dampens your mood. If your partner, you read everything they do, and even if they're tired and they're being short, you assume that it's because you've done something wrong, and it's just you're constantly basically on edge. An avoidant attachment is someone who needs a lot of space. They avoid deep emotional connections. They don't like vulnerability. They don't want to open up. They don't have the trust that people will be there for them. They like independence. They like space. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you're one and your partner is the other, you could see how these two don't seem to meet eye to eye and have the same sort of outlook on relationships and same sort of desires. So what fulfills one doesn't fulfill the other. What happens when you're together? So the anxious is just there, and they avoid wanting reassurance and this fear of abandonment, so they're just overly affectionate and loving, and the avoidant then feels suffocated and engulfed, and so they pull away and they pull away, and the more they pull away, the more the anxious person is triggered, because it's basically personifying all their fears. Everything that the anxious attachment style worries about, the avoidant is now triggering and doing, because they feel suffocated. And so this builds up until the anxious attachment style person probably very expressively snaps, because people who have anxious attachment tend to be quite open and wanting to express their love and affection, whereas someone who's got avoidant attachment doesn't like talking about their feelings and just anything emotional or anything deep. So what happens when one snaps? Then the avoidant attachment style obviously feels even more overwhelmed when you have someone shouting at you about being cold and you're not present, you don't love me as much, I'm giving you all this love and affection and I don't get anything back. And they feel overwhelmed. So their reaction is to close off even more. and to think that their partner's crazy. So this is a cycle. It's quite similar to trauma bonding, but it's kind of the same sort of patterns and motions that you go through. So then, once the anxious person has had enough and really feels undervalued and it's like, you know what, I don't feel fulfilled, I've had enough, I keep expressing how I feel, but instead of that getting validated or heard, the avoidant person just shuts me out, or just thinks that I'm crazy. So when they finally pack their things, have the courage to get up and leave, all the pent up love and affection and things that the avoidant person has been feeling but has felt suffocated and engulfed is now coming out at once, because that fear of being engulfed and being suffocated is no longer there. When they're seeing their partners pull back and move away, then their fear of abandonment comes up. And so it's happening and they're scared, so they're suddenly showing love and affection and attention and being the perfect partner. And the person who's anxious then starts suddenly seeing that, oh my God, they're exactly what I wanted them to be. I've been banging on about this for so long and none of it has taken effect, and it's finally happening now. So more reason than not, I want to stay. Bear in mind, they're not the ones who have a problem loving and showing love to this person. They had a problem about being loved back. So when that's shown to you, more likely than not, you will probably at some point after some persuading will give in and stay. So then it's bliss again. The dynamic of the relationship is great. Chemistry, fun is back. The anxious person finally feels reassured and sees a change in their avoidant partner. The avoidant partner doesn't feel as suffocated and starts opening up and showing a bit more of their personality or their affection, and it's all great until the dust settles, things fall back into a routine, and then it's back to you're cold, you don't have a heart, you're distant, and the avoidant thinking you're crazy, you're too much, you're suffocating me, I need space, I want to be alone. And the cycle repeats itself. This is why people who end up in anxious avoidant relationships end up, it's blatantly obvious to everybody on the outside, it's blatantly obvious in the parties involved in this relationship that this is not healthy, nor is it right. But they seem to not be able to let go of each other. And this cycle can go on for years. I know people that are married who have different attachment styles, and they're going through this all the time. Now, what to do if you are in a situation like this? The one thing that will help you the most is awareness and knowledge. When you know what's going on, then you can actually manage it and do things to deal with it and fix it and heal it and look at the root cause of where it's coming from. Why do you feel like you do? Why do you have this insecurity and anxiousness when it comes to your partners? And if you're an avoidant, why do you shut out? Why do you not let people in? Why are you not able to express how you feel? Talk about your emotions. Where is this coming from? And then heal the root cause of it and overcome it. And also be open and communicate this to your partner. It's okay if you have these attachment styles, but as long as you say, oh, you know what, my anxious attachment style is getting a little bit triggered, bear with me, give me some time, let me overcome it, and have some sort of rapport and understanding of each other's attachment styles and how you deal with things and what you find overwhelming or what you find anxious. That's a way to breaking this cycle and breaking this sort of pattern. But it only happens when both partners are willing and ready to look at themselves, see where they're going wrong, and work on it as a team. Otherwise, it's just a repeated pattern. And if, like I always say, if nothing changes, then nothing will change. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have, please do subscribe to my page, like and comment on this video. Please do share it with someone who may need it. And I look forward to seeing you guys here again next week. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah.